Napanee's first recorded high school, the Napanee Academy, opened on Robert Street in June of 1846 with one teacher. Other schools were built to accommodate the town's growing student population over the years, but it wasn't until September of 1890 that Napanee Collegiate Institute was built and opened at the corner of Graham Street and the Belleville Road. NCI's first caretaker was retired town constable Jeremiah Storms. Napanee Collegiate Institute boasted a hockey team as early as 1907. By 1924, there were many more sports underway at the school, including tennis, baseball, lacrosse, rugby, volleyball, and basketball. The music program was also in full swing. There were over 200 students enrolled in 1924, just around the time that students began to complain about the small gym. The school also lacked a running track, showers, and lockers, like those being enjoyed by the students over at Picton Collegiate. So, in 1925, the old gym was replaced with a new two-story addition. Upgrades also included 4 new classrooms, an agricultural lab, and a shower room. In 1928, Student Council approached Mr. George William Gibbard and asked if they could purchase a piece of his land to use as a rugby field and running track. Gibbard Furniture was well known in the community for its support of sporting events. After some thought, Mr. Gibbard donated the land. Though George William died suddenly just a year later in 1929, his son Ernie took over the company in time to see the development of his father's donation to Napanee Collegiate. In 1929, the school was renamed Napanee Collegiate Institute and Vocational School, and in 1949, it was changed again to Napanee District Collegiate Institute. As the student population grew, so did the need for a larger building, and the new NDCI was built and opened in its present location on November 20th, 1952. The school was renamed Napanee District Secondary School in 1963, around the same time that B and C wings were added. A new gym, library, technical shops, and cafeteria were all built starting in 1966. People Place opened in 1968, and in 1969, the school athletic teams were named the Golden Hawks. School variety nights were popular in the 60s, featuring acts like the Napanee Beatles. Both male and female cheerleading squads were introduced in 1963, and the first elections for head girl and head boy were held in 1966. Some alumni will remember dancing the Frug at the Crazy Hat Dance in 1965. N.D.S.S. students hadn't heard yet of twerking, but they were twerping at the twerp dance in 1966. The music program grew from just one band and 45 students in 1969 to 7 bands and over 400 students in the 70s. In 1973, new tennis courts, a running track, and a football field were all built on the grounds of NDSS. That was the same year that work began on the construction of the CN Tower. Through the 80s, the music and drama programs continued to flourish, as did sports. In the 1982 Torch, Vice Principals Alkenbrack and Doughty reported their most pleasant task was getting out in the corridors to meet the large majority of students who seldom needed their help, while some of their challenges included students who forgot notes or wrote their own, those who wanted to ride a different bus, and those who were reported as smoking on the bus. The NDSS 95-96 hockey team had an outstanding year and were crowned the Eastern Ontario Secondary School champions.
Last picture, the Tree of Peace. Okay, so
more recently, a school project serves as a reminder that the history of Napanee District Secondary School may stretch back many years, but long before it was a school, the land beneath it was traditional Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee territory. To honor the land and its indigenous peoples, NDSS Native Studies teacher Karen Randall Blancher has commissioned the painting of murals representing a traditional medicine wheel. Each panel was drawn by a famous Native artist, and a group of 40 students handled the painting. The complete murals will be displayed in the school library. Passage of time has introduced modern conveniences. School subjects, clubs, and athletics have been revised or added to, and this reflects the wants and needs of students. But one thing has never changed since the beginning of Napanee District Secondary School, even as far back as 1890. Habit still crystallizes into character.
Hi, I'm Barry Brummel, and I graduated from N.D.S.S. in 1968.
Hi, I'm Lynn Simpson. I used to be Lynn Walker. I graduated in 1982 from N.D.S.S.
I'm Karen Randall Blanchard, and I was Karen Randall when I was at N.D.S.S, and I graduated in 1991.
I am Mary Ellen Betts, formerly Kibbet, and I graduated N.D.S.S in 1992, or 82. Sorry about that. Time flies.
Well, I think the growth in the school when I first went there till I left was very significant because the area was growing, and that meant a lot of different accommodations that we had to look after. And I think the introduction of the house system for the youngsters coming in from far-flung parts of Lennox and Addington, Sandhurst, Enterprise, helped them integrate into the high school. And I was really pleased and proud of our staff when we changed from the organization of 8 periods a day, 40 minutes long, and went to a semester type of organization with 60-minute periods and only 4 a day. I think that was very significant in changing the whole culture of the school.
My passion for the school comes about because my foundations for my life, a lot of it is here. Would it be sports, learning how to be a team player, a shop teacher taking the time to show a video of the future, and that's actually what I do in engineering.
Oh, I loved high school. I was very involved in gymnastics, so that was really probably my highlight. I loved Bill Pearson. I still have the pleasure of cutting his hair today, so that's really cool. And I loved Friday fish and chips in the cafeteria. That was really awesome. I loved Mr. Edie, and I loved Mr. Goodyear. Kathy Robb was one of my all-time favorites. She was my teacher. I was blessed to have her, and then she was both my children's guidance counselors when my children went to high school.
One of the best teachers I remember was Mr. Chouinard, who, although I was bad in math, I actually learned some math that year, and it was the only year I think that I didn't have to write the final exam in math.
I was also very proud of our music program and of our sports teams.
Spirit parades have got to be the #1. The entire school, and everybody in their colors, and getting our floats together and heading downtown and making a ruckus and way too much noise would probably be one of the best memories. Another memory would be we got chosen to go down and be at town hall and be the mayor and be a part of all of that as student reps to see how the town hall went. And then dances, I guess. I mean, we had nothing to do, right? We had nothing to do in Napanee, so our monthly dances were theme-based, and everybody got to be together, and so those are my biggest memories.
People Place, the information I got from there, teachers, people who took an effort and an interest in me, not only to keep me out of trouble, but also to show me passions and how to work as a team.
Working in the greenhouse was one of my things. With the environmental science teachers, Mr. Wiley, Mr. Baker, and Mr. Klink.
I remember walking through the halls between classes in November of 1963, and a fellow by the name of Ralph Harnden was walking towards me, and I heard him say, "They just shot JFK," and it's something that sticks in my memory.
Oh, I used to love the dances too, I loved, yeah, the dances were like a huge highlight. They were fun to do.
Can you remember any of the bands? I remember Bentwood Rocker from Belleville. I used to have a real crush on one of the guys in Bentwood Rocker.
I think at that dance, I think the guy threw an orange shirt like he had on, and it was covered in sweat. I think I kept it for years.
You don't still have that, do you?
No. But I'm sure, because I think they played at our high school more than once, eh? And I think the guys are really cute. So
they were really cute.
Yeah, and I have an orange shirt. I had an orange shirt. I don't anymore, because now I'm 52, so I don't keep that stuff.
Well, I'd like to talk about Bonnie Fleming, her wizardry and the computer systems and our online presence was invaluable for grounding us as a committee was invaluable. I'd like to talk about Debbie Hamilton. Debbie Hamilton is like the bedrock of this group. She may not think so, but if it wasn't for her and her efforts, there's no way we'd be doing what we were doing right now. Well, moving forward, our vision is to have people become involved. So if people would go to NDSSalumni.com, register, then that way we can communicate when there's another opportunity for them to be involved in our association and to help this school and this community.